Disney's in that weird transitional period right now, which we've talked about before. Bob Iger is set to depart in December of this year, which...
Oh, is he? I believe he's gone when he's gone.
Yeah, it's... And the thing with Bob Iger is obviously he's, like, you wouldn't have Star Wars or Marvel under Disney if it wasn't for Bob Iger. And he's the one that allowed all that creative freedom and everything. Now, along with him, it sounds like Alan Horn is also going to be leaving as well. So, two major people that have been important in everything that's happened with the MCU are officially going to be stepping out, handing over the reins to what Disney sort of, I guess, mishmashing their Fox executives and the Disney execs and all that. And a recent report by, I believe, Variety that put out, they kind of go into some of the details. And according to them, we're already starting to see some of that, I guess, cheap peck. Because people said he's a little bit on the cheaper side when it comes to productions and things. It already sounds like he's starting to cheap out on ideas and things to just be like, push profit. And it's like, oh no, that's not what we want to hear. Like, it's...
No. You know, this was the guy that was promising like all these live performances and all this stuff in Disney World, and then I think it was in Galaxy's Edge. So, there's going to be all this. It's going to be like roaming droids and starfighters are going to like shoot across everything. Stuff opens up and there's nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was too expensive. So he cut it. Cool.
And to be fair, the Star Cruiser is coming. He's got the lightsaber off the ground. We saw the video of that. Like,
yeah,
it's things. Yeah, it's coming later than anticipated. But my big takeaway was that he already seems to be, I guess the best way to put it is rubbing people the wrong way from what I got from that. Because, like, I guess he just, like, attended a couple of meetings. And he's like, oh, well, this is how we're doing things. Oh, well, here's how this is going to be done. And it's like, we need to wait for him to fully take over and put his stamp on things. But it sounded like there's already a couple reasons to worry. Now, I assume, no matter what, Kevin Feige will not be stepped over and somebody's going to be like, no, this is how you do it, Feige.
I'd say it's safe to assume that the whole Marvel and Star Wars side is going to be absolutely fine. He's not going to touch those.
Yeah. I mean...
And why would you? Like, I know all CEOs want to like put their stamp and be remembered and all that crap, but you don't want to be remembered as the guy that ruined it all.
I was going to say, you don't want to be the guy that comes in and goes, I single-handedly, in a span of 3 years, ruined Marvel Studios and Star Wars.
Exactly.
Oof. Like, and they already have a course, like, trajectory that they've set on with so many projects announced and people working that even if he was to say, well, all right, you got to do what I tell you now. Well, that still wouldn't take effect till, 2024, 25, which by then they'll already have
he could slash budgets. He can,
yeah.
Coming out like that, he could do what they did with like Iron Man 2 and start putting their fingers in it. But I doubt you will, to be honest. I know people weren't great or like particularly happy with Chapek or whatever his bloody name was, like coming on board in the first place, but I don't know. I don't know enough about the guy to really form an opinion. I just heard the stories.
My biggest hope is that he says, hey, Deadpool, that whole thing, we're scaling back your budget. Max is $65 million again. Because then they could restrain everybody involved, be like, no, cheap profit. This is what I'm going to maximize. Like, that's my hope, that he sort of like looks at some of the Fox output and goes, well, there's opportunity here and we see what it's done. Let's work on that. Because again, like, for all the crap that people give Star Wars, they've had one film that didn't do well. All the rest cracked $1 billion. So, and that was Solo, that they dumped a week after Infinity War and a week before Deadpool. Of course, that was never going to be big.
And only a couple of months after the last Star Wars movie.
Yeah, like that was a
too close
disaster train on their part. But other than that, like, they've had a pretty good, I guess, a ground plan that they sort of set in motion, that they're just kind of like walking by, looking at it, going, hey, this kind of works. This is working in our favor. So I hope that they don't see necessity out of changing plans and ideas and directions. And we don't know. Apparently, there's also a push by him to try to unify more brands, whatever the hell that means.
What does that mean? I'm confused. What the hell is that?
My takeaway is, and he's probably like, well, why can't we have Marvel on Hulu? And Feige's like, because production would be crap. So only Disney Plus. Like, I could see him as being as the guy that wants to restore some of those ideas, being like, well, let's put 5 Marvel shows on Hulu because they have the CW over there. And Feige's like, bro, quality would sink 100%. So let's not do that. You know,
just get rid of Hulu.
I mean,
it only exists in the States. Who's gonna miss it?
Yeah. I mean, that's how I get my TV. But if they offer it some other way, I'll take it. You
just do what they do over here. Make it Stars.
Yeah.
Or just make it literally part of Disney Plus. You don't need another separate thing. I know they can't do that because they don't solely outright own Hulu.
Yeah, they don't own the last 10% or whatever. So.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, just give them the 10%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if it's like that, then you know, maybe Hulu can be like the animated side for Marvel.
Right, which again, we don't know what they have ideas for and what they're trying to pull off. Quite clearly, Disney wants to be ambitious with many projects and things they're doing, and they've shown that they can deliver. Like and they're willing to look at IPs. I mean, people were like, "Oh, Disney, they're gonna ruin Fox and FX." As a matter of fact, if you keep looking at the last couple weeks and the last 6 months, FX has the most announced greenlit projects in history of Fox. Like, Disney is approving anything that sounds like a good idea or a crime show and renewing shows like Mayans, which I love Mayans. So like, they're not gonna throw that away. But I understand from his perspective. Hey, can we get something Marvel on Hulu or FX?
You have MODOK and you will be happy.
Exactly. Yep.
Apparently they're really happy with MODOK. So.
Well, good. That's
not that I know when that's coming out, but I can't.
I have no clue. I don't know. I think it's end of May. I could be wrong.
So. I want to say it's this month sometime. I just can't remember.
Well, when we know more about the changes, we'll talk about them soon. But that's the update for that